All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update. And as you could tell by the thumbnail of today's video, we're going to be talking about James Gunn's next film, which is all going to hinge on the success or failure of Superman. And so we're going to take a look at some interesting stuff here today. And this is going to be kind of an interesting update. So we're going to kind of dive in here. So let's go ahead and get started with the screen grabs. First up is a post I did on X the other day. This got some of the Gunn fans really upset because they thought this was real. And it's to the point now where they get defensive over everything. It's actually quite funny. And I posted this because of the fact that James Gunn has put himself front and center of all the behind-the-scenes photos. Anytime he's promoting somebody for their birthday or anniversary, he's always there front and center. And a lot of outlets have noticed this. But I said, new Superman reports say that James Gunn pushed all of the actors out of the way during filming and performed their parts for them. That is why the marketing is so focused on Gunn himself. All of the photos occurred just before he pushed them out of the way. He plays all of the characters. Now, one of the best posts I saw after I did this was somebody saying that must be why they're taking so long to do the trailer. They've had to CGI all the actors' faces onto James Gunn himself because he did all of their parts for them. I thought that was pretty dang funny, actually. Also, they talk about, the Snyder fans being the cultists. But if you look at this photo, you could see somebody dressed up as James Gunn with the Superman statue that they recently, talked about doing at the over in Japan, I believe it is. Or is it over in China? I can't remember. The Osaka Comic-Con. And that statue's terrible. It's just terrible. But people dressing up like James Gunn, really? Really? That's some pretty twisted stuff, actually. Also, for comic book fans, this is one of the best Superman stories I have ever read. This was actually it was a part of the current storylines with Superman probably about 3 or 4 years ago. It is the Warworld Saga, and I found out this is going to be coming out in a hardbound version. It's omnibus number 1 for Philip Kennedy Johnson. And I'm actually going to be picking this up. Right now, this is only available in trade paperback, but I want a hardbound copy. When I find a story I really, really like, I do get it in hardbound. And I'm actually going to be doing a video here pretty soon for the fans of my channel, the ones who support me with subscriptions. I'm going to show them the hardbound, stories that I do have because I think they are the best of the best. Now, Screen Rant posted this, and I thought this was interesting. It says, David Zaslav bet big that they could show the world that the DC IP can have real value. Superman is the first movie. That will set the tone. They have a tremendous amount riding on it. Experts claiming Warner Brothers Discovery is very dependent on Superman's performance through DC. You think? And what amazes me about this is how bad the marketing has been. And I posted about this on X, and I said, if this movie ends up being amazing, it's still going to leave one question. Why was the marketing so bad? Why was it so bad? And somebody asked me, why was it bad? Like, what makes it bad? And I was able to point out some things right off the bat. Number one, the first reveal with him in the suit where he's sitting in a chair getting his boots on was terrible. Then you had the teaser with no real dialogue in it, and the whole time Superman is beat up, depressed, and torn down. And then you had the 5-minute thing that was released with Minecraft where Superman is almost beat to death, and it was a comedy skit. Like, for something that has to be this big for DC, the marketing has been terrible. Now, that doesn't mean the movie is going to be terrible. There's still a chance that this movie could end up being amazing. But there has nothing that indicates that that is the case other than people talking about it from the studio itself. So here was the big news and why I did the thumbnail. Breaking: Warner Brothers will announce a sequel to Superman if the film succeeds at the box office. The sequel will be either an adaptation of World's Finest or an original story written by James Gunn that doesn't feature Batman. And this comes from Jeff Snyder. Now, here's why I believe this to be true. I do believe it's a World's Finest. Number one, that's my worst nightmare, is that James Gunn gets his hand on World's Finest. I've wanted to see a Batman-Superman team-up. We got close to it with Batman versus Superman, but I wanted to see one where they were a team-up from the beginning. We could have had that, okay? But no, they had to reboot everything, and we're going in a completely different direction. And the reason why I think it's a World's Finest is James Gunn did say that he is writing an original story. His next venture that he will write and direct for DC, and he talked about Batman being in some other projects before Batman Brave and the Bold comes out. And so I do believe he wants to be the one to cast Batman. I do believe he is the one who's going to turn him into a joke, something very akin to what we had with George Clooney as Batman. And so this is my big fear as a fan of these characters. And everyone is championing, online, there's a big group of people championing this whole Silver Age version of these characters. We are way beyond the Silver Age. We have moved past that. That was a long time ago. A long time ago. They talk about, respect the past, embrace the future. Well, they want to embrace the past. They're not about embracing the future. And they need to listen to their own, their own wishes there, because this is pretty crazy. And I really hope for this very thing. Like, if it is a World's Finest, this alone makes me want Superman to fail. I want the movie to fail miserably. So James Gunn gets fired, and maybe they need to close down DC as far as live action goes for the next 5 to 10 years if they're not going to give the fans what they want. The other big news is that the trailer for Superman is supposed to drop next week, the week of May 12th through the 16th, possibly with one of the upcoming films. I believe here with the release of Thunderbolts, for me, the first film in May is always like the beginning of the summer season, and I am going to have a review on Thunderbolts soon. I did watch it over the weekend, and so they do expect the trailer to be released soon, and with Mission Impossible coming out at the end of this month, would be a great time to have that air with something like Mission Impossible. That trailer is our last shot to give a good impression, because so far everything has left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths because of how horrible the marketing actually has been. Now, I didn't think anything otherwise, but it says James Gunn confirms that Hot Girl's wings in the DCU will be organic, and they claim that they weren't organic in Black Adam, and I'd have to go back, but I thought they were organic in Black Adam, but maybe I'm wrong. Now, somebody sent this to me, and I thought this was hilarious, and if you go look at the viewership on this, it's actually terrible right now. It says, Warner Brothers is so desperate they are releasing the entire Creature Commando series on YouTube, and they are so that people can buy it and watch it, but the first 3 episodes are free. And it says, why is nobody talking about this? And they tagged me. And so Creature Commando Season 1 is now on YouTube, and the first 3 episodes are free. But nobody's watching it. And I even posted on Max that this show was irreverent, it was juvenile, it was disgusting, and had a horrible plot to it. And it's why it didn't get high viewership on Max, and it's why it's not getting high viewership on YouTube currently. They also did this so that some other countries that don't have Max could watch it. Like, they really want to try and get this out there. But there is just no interest in Creature Commandos. This is a show that should have never been made. Also, for those comic fans out there, I am currently reading All-Star Batman and Robin: The Boy Wonder. I will do a review on this when I am done with it. Now, what's really funny about this is I have the original issues for this, and I had just never read them. And I heard that a lot of people did not like this take on Batman and Robin: The Boy Wonder. But if you look at Frank Miller was the writer of this, what were people expecting? Now, what I love about it is that the artist is Jim Lee. And this is back when he actually put more detail into his drawings. Like the current Hush storyline, his drawings are nowhere near as detailed. But I picked this up just because Jim Lee was doing the art alone. And I have these already bagged. But I got this digitally so I could read it. And boy, it is some bizarre stuff. Like, it's highly entertaining. But it is it's interesting. It's a whole different take on Batman and Robin, akin to The Dark Knight Returns. Now, I don't know why this even needed to be announced because I think it was already given, but it says Sean Gunn finally confirms his role as Maxwell Lord in Superman at Northern FanCon. I asked James Gunn recently if I can even say that I'm in the movie, and he was like, you can say you're kind of in the movie, so I'm kind of in the new Superman. So, again, this was to be expected. This is definitely not a big reveal. The nepotism with James Gunn has always been evident in everything that he does. So Jason Ritter came out and did an update on Lanterns. He said that we've shot 4 episodes so far, and we're about to start shooting episodes 3 and 4. We're doing it a little out of order. It's been so fun, and it's a really well-written, really fun show. I certainly hope that is the case. This was one of the things I was excited for, but the fact that it takes place on Earth, they're on a budget, and we're probably not going to see them in their suits very often, if at all. This is really kind of upsetting what they're doing with Lanterns. It's the show that should be in space and be fantastical, and they went in the opposite direction with it, which is very weird. Now, I laughed when I saw this. Now, somebody needs to... I wasn't able to confirm this, and somebody tell me if this is what James Gunn actually said, because this is so far from the truth, especially if you know Alex Ross. It says, James Gunn says legendary comic book artist Alex Ross is the inspiration behind the design of the Superman suit. There is nothing that Alex Ross has ever done art-wise, and he did Kingdom Come and a bunch of other stuff, that looks anything like the suit that they did for Superman. Like, this is so far from the truth, it's ludicrous. Also, this does not tickle me at all, but I'm sure there are some people who will be interested in this. But it says Warner Brothers' Michael DeLuca teases a Teen Titans Go movie is in the works at DC Studios. I think James Gunn and Peter Safran are working on a live-action Teen Titans and a new Teen Titans Go, I think actually, too. So Mike DeLuca has been front and center here for a while. He even made comments about the new Superman. And let's take a look at what he said about the new Superman film. So while I'm here on my Twitter account, I'm going to show you a couple of things that I posted. And this came from the Lethal Geeks and also from Sammy, where let's look at Sammy's original post. It says, Man of Steel made $670 million. Batman vs. Superman made $875 million. Wonder Woman made $824 million. Suicide Squad made $746 million. And Aquaman made $1.15 billion. But people will look you dead in the eye and say that these were flops and responsible for the downfall of DC. And it's very true. This is when you had the highest viewership. You were selling the most tickets. That changed after Aquaman when you turned everything into a comedy. There's one common thread through all of those flops. They were comedies. And they went from something serious where people went and enjoyed going, even though some of this stuff was divisive, you still had a high number of tickets sold, higher than anything going on today, and you walked away from that. How crazy is that? Also, Jason Tatum wore a custom pair of Superman-themed Tatum 3s to Game 1 of the NBA playoffs. You can look at these shoes. I thought it was really funny because this was posted by Josh from Den of Nerds, and he said, surprised these don't have Gunn's face on them somewhere, which I thought was freaking hilarious. Sammy also posted, finally, a solo Superman movie. And with this, it shows all the characters are going to be in Superman, which goes against everything that the fans said that they were looking for, that we wanted a solo Superman movie, but all of these characters are jammed into this film, and some we don't even know of yet. So here's the big Mike DeLuca thing that I wanted to show. It says, Mike DeLuca says, we've seen an early cut of Superman, and I don't want to bury the lead, There's a lot of marketing about to roll out ahead of its release, but he really understood the assignment. His heart's in the right place, his aim is true, and we're really excited about their new version of DC. So here's what I'm going to tell you. I do like Mike DeLuca, Pam Abdy. They're the ones that fought for the Snyderverse. But you have to understand these people's jobs are on the chopping block, and they're going to do everything they can to support Warner Brothers at this stage. And ever since the marketing for The Flash, and that's what Superman feels like, just like The Flash, I will never trust another studio person ever again when it comes to what they say in regards to the movies that they are producing and making, because they can't be trusted. And they were so wrong with The Flash, and we're going to see that in one of my posts here on X. So here's something I posted in regards to The Flash. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I said it was really sad how Warner Brothers took the Flashpoint storyline, which was very much a serious drama, and turned it into a comedy. You bring back a great Batman Keaton only to kill him in the end. That was definitely James Gunn's decision. Then bring in the most ridiculous Batman, Clooney. This is going to be the DCU with everything they do, especially stuff done by James Gunn. It is ingrained in every fiber of his being. All the proof is out there. There are people actually cheering this on, which is absolutely wild to me. To take that over serious filmmaking makes no sense, and it doesn't. And everything is being turned into a comedy. That's what James Gunn makes it appear to be. It's just crazy stuff right now. And there's a lot of scenes with Keaton we're never going to see. There are scenes with Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Henry Cavill that we haven't seen, all because James Gunn came in and changed it all. And The Flash did absolutely nothing to change the timeline at all. They still have yet to explain how the DCU even is a part of this. Even though James Gunn himself said when The Flash came out that it was going to be the big reset for the DCU, but it did nothing of the sort. All right, so there you guys have it. What do you think about James Gunn doing a world's finest film or a follow-up to Superman so quickly? What do you think about the marketing for Superman so far? And be honest down below whether you like it or you don't, and give reasons as to why. I would love to read the comments, good or bad. I do appreciate all the support. You guys have been awesome. We will see you on the next video.